Hey everybody, it's Tiffany from Quilter's Workshop, and today I just wanted to do a really quick little video about this little baby quilt that I did recently. Sorry if my voice sounds really terrible. That's why I didn't want to be in the video because I'm really sick right now. But I did want to get this video up just because when I was working on it initially I didn't think that I was going to do a video about it, but now that I finished it, I think that it would be a really cute little project, and I know most of the time I try and do projects in my videos that are things that you can do that you probably already have the materials lying around to make, just so that we try and keep the costs low and use up what we already have. So basically, this little quilt, I only did probably about a crib size, just as like a sample for my classes, but you could adapt this to any size that you want. Basically, because I didn't know I was going to be doing a video on this, I didn't film an actual tutorial, but if you have quilting experience, you should be able to kind of follow along just by what I'm explaining. And if you get kind of lost and you're like, what are you talking about? Definitely just send me an email. My email address is always listed in the description box below. So to start, you're going to choose a backing fabric, and I chose to use this flannel. I used about 1.3 meters, and basically I opened that up and pressed it, and then I cut a piece of batting that was a tiny bit smaller than that, and then my background fabric, which is this white tone-on-tone print right here, I cut the same size as the batting. And then you're going to go ahead and just sandwich all your layers. So you're going to lay the backing fabric down on your table with the pretty side of the fabric down, and then your batting in the middle, and then your background fabric, so in this case my white fabric, on top of those layers facing pretty side up. Then you can go ahead and smooth it out, make sure there's no wrinkles in the backing or anything. You can use like one of those basting spray temporary adhesives if you want to. I don't recommend using those though, just because I find they get really messy and they're sticky and gross. But maybe if you live somewhere warm and you can do it outside on like your deck or a table, for sure I would do it outside. But I live in Canada and it's February, so there's tons of snow, so going outside to use some spray is not really an option for me. So once you go ahead and do that, you're going to, from the edge of your background fabric, so for me that was my white, you're going to draw a line with some tailor chalk about 1 inch inside all the way around. And after that, you're going to continue to use your tailor's chalk. You're going to draw a 3-inch grid all the way across your fabric. So you're just going to measure from your 1 inch in from the edge, you're going to draw 3-inch blocks all the way across, and then you're going to go the other way, 3 inches all the way down. And then for the actual little squares of fabric, you're going to cut 2.5-inch squares. Obviously you can adjust the sizes to whatever you want, but just keep in mind that whatever size squares you're planning to use, you need to draw your grid sections a 1/2 inch bigger. So since I'm using 2.5-inch colored squares of fabric, then on my white I drew a 3-inch grid. So you can go from there. I used mostly like some vintagey looking fabrics that I kind of had lying around, and I wasn't really sure what kind of project I wanted to use the fabrics for, but I thought that this design was kind of like a shabby chic vintagey feel, and I really like that style in fabrics and in quilting, so I thought this would be the perfect little way to use up the fabrics that I've collected, and also make a great piece to use as a sample for my classes as well. So I just completely mismatched. There's no pattern at all. Once I had my 3-inch grid, I just laid down the 2.5-inch squares in the middle of each 3-inch opening, and then I pinned them all on. You can use safety pins if you want, or again, if you wanted to use the basting spray, that's totally fine too. And then once you've got all of your squares like attached or pinned on, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to sew with the edge of your pressure foot on the edge of the square, so that your stitching line is 1/4 inch in from the side of each square. And starting from the top of the quilt, all the way down, you're going to sew like a continuous line on either side of those squares. And I would recommend choosing one way to go first. So for example, if you want to do all the vertical lines first, so you're going to sew all the way down this row, all the way down this row, work your way all the way across the quilt. And then once you're done that, if you have any pins in, you can go ahead and take all of the pins out, because now half of it is already sewn on. And then once you're finished, you're going to go the other way and you're going to sew 1/4 of an inch in all the way across every single row, so that each square, when it's done, has like a full line of stitching all the way around it. And then the stitching also carries on in between each square, which gives you a really nice backing. So this is kind of like a quilt as you go type idea, and it it leaves lots of quilting, which is really, really nice, especially for a baby quilt when it gets washed a lot. And then this has been washed as well, so when I finished doing it, I went ahead and just washed it in cold water, and I did throw it in the dryer as well. And I just find that it gives just a really nice, like raggedy, soft look, which also kind of helps with like the vintage inspired feel of it as well. So I would recommend doing this project with either cotton or flannel as your squares. It doesn't really matter what the backing or what the background is, but definitely cotton or flannel will give you that nice raw edge look on all of your squares. If you have any questions on this tutorial, you can send me an email at quilters.workshop@gmail.com, and I'm definitely going to have this year's Valentine's Day projects video up, so you can look for that coming soon. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!